Alright, what up guys, it's Marcel here, back at Pro Play Games. We just got back from Orlando the other day, and I brought the Prince Set 1 Vegeta back for the Pro Play Tour on the Sunday event. I just kind of got bored the second day and decided, hey, let's whip him out, people want to see it again. So I brought him back with a new engine called the Scuffle time. So without further ado, let's get into the deck profile. Alright, so some of you may not remember what this Vegeta does, so let's go over a quick refresher. The front side is activate main, take a life. This card gains critical, and at 4 life, draw 2 when he gets to 4 life and awakens. And the same effect on the backside, except if he has 7 blue energy, he gets 10,000 power when he activates the ability, including the crit. But that never happens. That was like set 1 situations, but the crit is the main aspect of the leader and self-awakening. So we're gonna start off with our super combos. We got 4 boost attacks and 4 unbreakables. I don't like to explain this, it's just combo power, and really it's just free. Alongside the super combos, I ran Raging Gohans. This is just your defense card, so you just use this in between turns or offensively when going for a huge damage play to achieve a lot of damage. Next is our untap cards. This is a mono blue deck, so we're running Zenobutton and 4 unyielding and 4 sensu bean. This is a mono blue, so Zenobutton really came in clutch quite a few times when getting rushed down. Because this leader is kind of old, so it doesn't have the untap 2 when it awakens effect. So I really needed to make the use of my energy in between turns, so I added Zenobutton. Next is our early 1-drops, which is just going to be Time Cronoa and Energy Boo and 1 Flute. So we have 9 1-drops just to gain combo power on board while keeping our hand the same. Sometimes you can swing with boos for games, as I have always been doing. So he's still there. And instead of Kaba, we have Awakening Talent Pan. Similar effects. This is a 1-drop 15k. It's great pressure. But instead of double strike, she just comes back to your hand. So card advantage just keeps going back up. It's really good to go for game with this card. It's an optional trigger, so you don't have to use it if you don't want to. So I baited out a lot of Flying Nimbuses with this card and just didn't use her effect, and was able to double strike crit and then dump onto the second swing that I had with my Overwhelm card. Alright, so here's the Scuffle Time engine. The World Tournament Scuffle Time Goten and Scuffle Time Mr. Boo. The link cards, as they say, they work together. The main aspect is actually the Goten. So you need to drop 1 Majin Buu on the field. It has barrier that can't really interact with it. If Goten's on the board, you can sacrifice itself to return a card to their hand. I think it goes to the bottom of your deck. So yeah, this card goes to the bottom of my deck, and I return a card to their hand. So if I went against a Cell Chain player, that's what I would be doing. But that never came up. But this one specifically, if a Boo is in the field, you can untap the card, take a life, untap an energy, and gain 10,000 power. So it's essentially a 1 mana dual attacker that swings for 10k, then 20k. That's why I use this engine. It's just really aggressive, cheap damage sources. That's the point of the Scuffle Time. Alright, so to finish it off, we're going to be running our Furthering Destructions back at 4. Haven't seen that count for a while, since like early games. But you need to be able to double strike crit them early and double strike crit them late. So that's why we have such a heavy count of Champas. And then our last 2 are our Overwhelm cards, 2 Foos and 2 Miras. This is Steel's games. The Mira won me quite a lot of games because I activate leader ability to gain crit, and then they negated it, and they didn't have a negate for the Mira, so I just won out because it was just uncountable damage. This is gonna go through. So that was the main board. I will talk about the sideboard next. Alright guys, so this was my sideboard for the Scuffle Time Vegeta. I didn't finish it, only had the cards on me, so I got to 12 cards in my sideboard instead of 15. So there's still room for improvement, obviously. But the main aspect of it was to go kind of more mid-rangey in the sideboard, because certain matchups like Pan, which was literally the worst matchup that weekend, I lost to it in Swiss rounds and I lost to it in the top 8 playouts. It allowed me to go a little bit longer in my game style instead of just turn 3 win. That's pretty much the game plan. So I put Harus literally. If it was a yellow or green, it was plus. If it was a red or a blue, I still played her regardless. It was just a crit card to use after I awaken, because I don't want to take my life to gain critical anymore. And Awe-Inspiring Vegeta is the most broken blue card in the game defensively, and you have Zenna button anyway, so you're not tapped out on turn 4, and you can play it on curve. And obviously the removal effects that I might need, depending on the matchups, were my overrun cards. And Weak's Coercion for any crazy OTK Mira situations that came across. So yeah, that's the sideboard. Alright guys, so that was the deck profile for Scuffle Time Vegeta. The in-depth version will be up on our Patreon soon. Thank you to my sponsors, Ultra Pro and Pro Play Games. And as always, I'll see you guys next time.